everybody. Welcome back to Mortgage Ballers. This is Rich Hanlin, and today I have Cristina Goertzen on the phone, and she is here with us straight out from
Michigan.
Michigan. Where are you at, Michigan? I was going to try to remember what city you were in.
Sterling Heights.
Sterling Heights. Where is that versus 8 Mile?
North of 8 Mile, but I'm on the east side.
It's so stupid. I go out to UWM all the time, and I remember the first time I went out there, we're like not even a couple miles outside the airport, and it's like 8 Mile. And I was like, wait, 8 Mile? What the hell? Everybody, that's all I remember is 8 Mile. And they're like, that's like one little piece of the whole entire state, and that's all you can remember.
It's a whole divider. Basically,
we see stuff around the world about when the car manufacturers pulled out, and that, these areas that, that the police wouldn't even go into for a while. And now, slowly but surely, people are coming back in. I mean, LA did the same thing. There was so much violence that people would commute in for those big dollars. But over time, people said, we're going to keep creeping in. And those houses that were boarded up shacks are now like $1 million because they're easy 15 minutes, back and forth to work. You don't have to drive 3 hours, a day in your car. Just crazy. That's for older people, just so you know.
Okay.
Like me. Cristina, I thank you so much for coming on today. You're one of our younger loan originators. The industry average is like 46, 47. I'm not asking you for your age, but I would tell you we do have some younger loan originators. I mean, I want to hear from you. It ain't easy out there, but yet you've chosen this industry. Why do you choose this industry?
I love what I do. I love that I'm able to be myself and I get to change it up as much as I want. I work from home. I love being on social media. I love going to different events. I love how no matter what, it's not stagnant. Like, it's always different. Every single file is different. It's like figuring out a puzzle piece. I feel like it's a little Rubik's Cube, and every single client is just a different Rubik's Cube.
And you actually were with UWM at one time, right?
Yeah, for about 5 years.
Wow. Right on. What did you do at UWM?
So I don't know anybody that's touched more loans than me at UWM. If you find somebody, let me know. I've touched over 57,000 loans while there. So I was in the disclosures team, condition splitting, post-closing, AUS, and then I was in the AE support team, which is basically the tech support of everything UWM. And then I went off to be a national account executive. So I have experience in every aspect of lending at this point.
Well, what's amazing to me is, Matt Ishbia, you just touched on probably 5 or 6 different things within a 5-year period of time. Obviously, there's tons of room within that corporation. As they find talent, they start moving you up and moving you around. So I love that. And now you're on our side. I mean, that is a very well-rounded person that someone could talk to about a loan, our industry. You've seen both sides. What the lender gets on their side, because brokers throw a lot of stuff, I'm sure. And you had to see the cost effectiveness of how some of that works, but now you can bring that back over to the broker side. And I know that we're very blessed to have you with Expert Home Lending. You pretty much can go anywhere you want. So I do appreciate your time. How long have you been on the lending side, broker side of it?
Broker side, so a little over a year. So after UWM, I really wasn't sure like where I wanted to go, what direction I wanted to take. So I worked for a tax attorney for about 8 months, and I got to have a little bit of a tax background. So now that's really helped me as well, like with on the broker side of things. So I've been licensed for a little over a year, and I like partnering with different tax advisors as well. Because coming from that background, I know that it helps, especially with self-employed borrowers, having that background of tax. So it's able to help before we get into the loan process.
No, that's a huge value add to your clients to be able to do that. Taxes scare everybody.
Yeah, I've learned a lot about it, like specifically like different, I call them tax loopholes, like depreciation and depletion. So like I have one client that I'm working with right now with his tax advisor. He needed about 80,000 to qualify for the home that he needed, but on paper he only made 70,000. But he is able to qualify for the home because I know underwriting adds back depreciation and depletion. So we were able to strategize together to get him what he wants.
And I hope people hear what you just said. A lot of people look at the bottom line. I've had people that show 0 at the bottom line. And then it's like, but hold on a second, let's go up. Oh, you own 3 trucks that you wrote off $180,000 upfront depreciation the first year. We just got you $180,000 worth of income. And they're like, what? Not
Yeah.
everybody will do that, and that's where those overlays of different lenders and or banks or credit unions come in. They're like, nope, that's what you report to Uncle Sam. I'm like, Uncle Sam's cool with it. We understand what's going on there. Now, are you part of a team? Do you just do it all by yourself? How do you do it?
Yeah, so it all happened really fast. So I only got licensed a little over a year ago, about 3 months in. Jamie Newman, so she should be on your next episode.
Jamie Newman.
Yes, her and I are really close, so we started a team together, and we actually have a tax advisor on our team. So I have that in my back pocket as well. I think there's 7 of us now. So
Wow. Okay.
yeah,
And I know you've been helping on our Arrive project. I do appreciate that as well. A lot of people
love
don't
it.
know. We had a huge team of people helping us, and the best people to help on that were loan originators because they're like, hey, I already know Arrive. Just show me what you need to do. And it really helped bring that project faster and faster and faster. So I do appreciate that.
Yeah. Makes me better at my job.
Absolutely. You know, in where you're at now, you're I know you're a homeowner. When did you buy your house?
3 years ago.
All right, you took a plunge. Tell me, this is probably the best thing I can ask you. You're
Okay.
young, you bought that house. What was your fears going into that? And what was the reality after being a homeowner now for 3 years? I mean, what what was the biggest holdback in fear going into it? And now you've lived it. Was it
Yeah.
all justified? Was it maybe not justified? Talk to me about that.
Of course. So I mean, it was expensive up front. Like I was afraid, I had a little tiny apartment. It was about 1,000 a month, and I knew that my payment was going to go up a little bit having a house. But I have a lot more flexibility. I like to talk about how you can use your liability and turn that into an asset. And what I mean by that was I have the option to get a roommate if I wanted. Right now, I make $100 a month renting out my garage. I have a 2-car garage. I rent out half of that space, and it's just passive income right
Is it a
there.
car? What do they put in half your garage?
I have a really cool, like, old pickup truck in my garage right now, and every month I just get $100 a month. So if I wanted to clear out both sides, I could put another car in there and rent that out.
You're a house hacker, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm a house hacker.
I like
So
it.
that was like my little project. I was like, how can I use my house to get like a little bit of passive income to live more comfortably?
Right on. And every now and then you get to take that old truck out and, burn the tires up, it sounds like.
Yeah, like house, there's more flexibility, there's more options. Down the road, I want to maybe downsize, go somewhere a little bit more of the city area, and then I could rent this out. So definitely helps prepare me for my future.
I like that. Thanks for sharing that. What would be your advice to somebody just like you? I mean, maybe we back up 1 second because I've been talking to a lot of people and they're all over the United States. We had a person in Orange County where first time home buyers paying $1 million,
Oh,
probably for
wow.
the same size house that they're getting in Michigan. But I had another person in Michigan, Audrey Duvall, and she's like, where I'm at, it's like 240. Where you're at, what's it cost to become a homeowner to get into a house?
Yeah, so I mean, first time home buyer, 3%, 3.5% down. But in my area, you can easily get a house for anywhere from like 200 to 300,000, depending on how spacious of a house you want.
Okay.
Specifically in my area, though, like if you wanted maybe 3 or 4 bedrooms, so like I say the medium-sized houses, it's definitely more of a buyer's market. So 250 to 300 range, I found that most sellers are willing to offer like max seller concessions. So like that's what I did is I went for a house like a little bit bigger than I was wanting originally because I found that at the time that I bought a $200,000 house was getting outbid for like 30, 40,000, but a house that was like 240 you were buying and getting seller concessions for.
People would be surprised that every 10,000 eliminates a lot of possible buyers.
Yeah.
At one time it was like every 1/8%, there's like over 1 million people nationwide that no longer qualify for every 1/8% higher in rate. Hey, you got this thing on the wall behind you. Not everybody gets to write on their walls. Now I know what's there, but real quickly, talk to me about those walls in your office because you got a unique situation going there.
Yeah, so that's one thing I love about being a homeowner. I designed my office just how I wanted. A majority of this room is all whiteboard, and I record a lot of content in here. So that is my social media. I'm on Facebook, it's Cristina Goertzen, Mortgage Loan Officer. Instagram, it's Mortgage by Cristina. And then my TikTok is Credit by Cristina. I like to put a lot of educational content on there. So one of my bigger focus is credit. just because nobody's talking about it. So I put a lot of content on there.
You know, what's amazing, you said something, and I know Jamie does it too, Jamie Newman, who we're referring to. You guys don't shy away from the loans. I find sometimes my loan officers, as they get older, I hate working with this kind of a client because it's so much energy, but then they pigeonhole themselves when the market turns and there's not as much business because they get out of sync of helping those challenged people. I did more loans for people when I got into purchases from refis, but I had already learned how to fix people's credit and or help them and use the tools that like Advantage Credit uses. You know, they're like, oh, I got to get to a 780. Like, what are you talking about? I just need to get you to a 640 at
Yeah.
the time, and I can give you Cal HFA in California, and you could get 100% financing plus closing costs. If I can get you to a 620, I could do 3.5% down. I'm not trying to get you to 780. I'm trying to get you in a house. And sometimes that's only 30, 40, 50 points, not 200 points. So small things. I felt like I had a lot of money invested in people, but it was invested in my business. And by the end of the year, I would make more than I spent. And so it was working. But this was during that 2008, 2012. You had to invent the business. And so, I mean, they couldn't even give houses away then at that point in time. Nobody could qualify. So we had to go and make something happen. So I love that you guys don't shy away from making something happen. And those people are loyal to you. Most people say, I'm just not going to help you. But when you dive into people and you help them, and here you are, you're one of the younger people in our industry. And I'm like, people, take a listen to this. Don't shy away from the hard stuff. Make the hard stuff become so easy because you're perfect in doing it. The other side of this is Brandy Stevens is one of my top originators, one of the top originators in the nation. She still does credit repair. Amanda Rawl still does credit repair. They know the value and they get people in the houses, and because that's where their heart is, right?
Yeah.
So I love that.
That's where my heart is. And there can be a little bit of a cost to it too. So for a lot of my clients, I pay for the soft pull and the simulator. But I like to compare that cost is so much cheaper than buying leads. So I like to put myself out there that I can do a lot of credit repair. I get tell them about the simulator. And it's definitely like, wait, I think the simulator is like what, $8 and the soft pull is $17. So that per lead is so much cheaper than if I was to buy leads and have somebody yell at me all day. I don't want to do that. So that's one thing I don't want to do. I would much rather have somebody that, say, 3, 4, 5 people have turned away and then come to me saying, please help me. I help them, and then I get all of their friends and family sent to me.
You know, you said something I've never thought about that way. And here I am 35 years. The cost of a lead versus the cost of a soft pull with a simulator, and advertising to people that I help people raise their credit scores and I put people in houses. No credit is too scary for me. And that is such a cheap per borrower thing to get your phone ringing. And these are people who are actively saying, wait a minute. I mean, obviously, like, do they have the income that should I fix their credit? Is that the only thing holding them up? But in many cases, it is based on value and neighborhood, stuff like that. That is an incredible share that you just did. I'm going to actually talk about that a little more, and I'm going to dive into it and figure out. I know what I pay for leads. I tried to do leads last year. I paid $2,500 a month.
Yeah, that's way more expensive.
For 100 leads.
Wow. And I bet you a lot of them yelled at you.
Well, and it was a lot of them, they dropped them into a CRM, and then the CRM would take over from there. And so it wasn't like I was having conversations with they just kept feeding it. And then the person would go through, kind of like Rad CRM, they would go through a process, and I'd only talk to the ones that rose to the top. It would funnel them down to try and get rid of those conversations. But you have to be careful with that. I was still paying, I get 1,000 was for the software, 1,500 was for the lead, so about $150 a lead. But if based on the average dollars, but I could tell you I was doing Georgia, in right now, the average loan amount for first-time home buyers probably like 175 to 225. They're not huge loans like they are in California. So you got to do quite a few of those to cover that expense and still make a profit, but still value. I mean, one of our youngest loan originators been in the business 1 year, and that's the value that they bring. I have people been doing this for 10, 20, 30 years that could learn something off of what you just said.
Thank you.
That was incredible ad right there. I appreciate it.
believe and I try to model my business around how do I create loyalty? So if I don't bring any value to my partners, whether it be the borrower, a realtor, even a bank, if I don't bring any value to them, they owe me no loyalty. So I just constantly obsessed with how can I make their life easier? How can I bring value to their life so that I earn that loyalty? And then in hopes I earn all those referrals that come with it.
Well, let's switch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing all that. But there's another side to you. If anybody follows you at any of those things behind you, they'll start to understand that you don't sleep. And after your work day, you're always out doing something, events, things like that. And who are you outside of the loan, or is that part of your business model just to continue to do stuff? But when you're not in loan mode, what do you do when you're trying not to be in loan mode? Maybe say it that way.
Well, my personal and business life is very intertwined, which is how I like it. A lot of my partners are some of my closest friends. So like Jamie Newman, she's one of my best friends. I partnered with a lot of different real estate agents this year that I consider really close to me. So we hang out and like we'll go to the gym and we'll be doing squats while we're talking about a potential deal. So that's kind of how I like it. I'm involved with the Chamber of Commerce, South Michigan. My friends there. I'm pretty much the only broker out there. So that's kind of my territory, so to speak. So I like to go to a lot of different networking events and eat really good food. I like dancing. I'm trying to think. That's probably the only thing that's not work related about me. I work out a lot. I have a cat. He's locked up right now. Otherwise, he would be in your, like all up in here. But yeah, that's me.
I like it. I like it. I like it. Yes, I had to cut Jamie off last year because she was living out at UWM, taking every class that they could possibly offer. And I'm like, how many times have you been out there? Well, we have all this free education available to us. I just want to keep learning. And I'm like going, you have been out there more than anybody I know. I mean, it's snowing. She's out there. It's hot. She's out there. And I've just thought, maybe I need to tell people you should be more like Jamie. It's slow right now. So she's taking classes. She's educating herself. She's taking advantage of everything that's available to her. And that's where I started getting respect for her. I started understanding more of who she is and what she's about. Obviously, she has a real estate license. She has a huge heart to help other people, and she does not shy away from hard deals. A lot of people say, here, Jamie, take this little $75,000 deal in Alabama. She's like, thank you. And she'll grab it because guess what? That can turn into a lot of deals.
Yeah, she gets the biggest referral out of those types of deals. So her and I, she was actually my first client or one of my first clients when I was at UWM, and we just immediately clicked. So even when I left, we were really good friends, and then we both started here together.
No, I like it. I like it. When I first met Jamie, I'm thinking, gosh, we have a lot of young loan originators. What are you, like 28 years old? She goes, hell no, I'm almost 40. And I was like, sorry. She just looks so young. Her and Megan just look so young. And I'm like, right on, man. Stay in this business long enough, you'll look like me. Gray hair, stressed out, it never ends. 35 years goes by fast. So when I hear you're in your first year, I could tell you, I can remember the first day I was in the business. There's so many things that I've seen this industry do, and it's only going to continue to develop and become more. And you're going to see that because you come in now and you think, gosh, there's AUS, it was a kind of a housing crisis when the rates were going up. But you're at UWM 2021 when you saw the other side of that appraisers are 8 weeks out. You're paying $1,500 to rush an appraisal. There is feast and famine in this business, but the fact that you're making it in the famine part, you're going to do incredible as it starts to turn. And it is turning. We're having record imports since January 1st. So there's a lot of pent up energy. I think people are finally saying, you know what? I can't wait anymore. I want to get on with my life. And so I think you're at a great time at a pivotal point. I do like that.
Been seeing business pick up a lot. I'm trying to triple my business from last year, and so far I'm on track. So fingers crossed I hit my goals. But it doesn't feel like work to me. Like I have a pop-up desk, and a lot of days I will work from bed, and it's the best because I'll just be sitting there like all comfortable. I'm like, this doesn't even feel like I'll forget that I'm working because I'm just cuddled up with the cat on my bed. And then I'm like, I should probably get out of bed at some point. So
it's 8 at night. I should probably get out of bed. Boy, I worked all day. No, I mean, and people say, gosh, that's so lazy. It's like, it's actually not. You want what's between Christina's ears. What do you care whether she has slippers on or not, right? It's like
Exactly.
you're
Exactly.
worrying about the wrong thing. Some people have to get in game mode and get all dressed up just to get to that same place of what's between their ears. Everything's done electronically mostly now. We barely meet people. How's that for you? Is it all electronic? Are you meeting your customers still? I mean, how do you do it?
I like to say that the internet creates warm leads for me.
Okay.
So constantly online. I'm involved in, like, I live in Sterling Heights, so I'm in Sterling Heights, like, city community groups. And from time to time, people will ask for like finance advice, anything like that. So I'm always the first one to comment. I try to like take care of a lot of my real estate agents online. So if anybody's like, hey, does anyone know of a commercial lender, someone that does a property management, I'll comment them. So I try to really take care of my partners. I will share their Facebook pages, their posts, all of that. So I'm extremely active online. I've made a lot of friends online. And then when I meet them in person, it's not like I'm meeting a stranger. So I'll talk to them. I'm like, hey, I finally get to meet you in person. Like, let's talk some more. It allows me to be able to kind of like close the deal. I'm actually trying to do a lot more collaborations this year with different real estate agents. I'll slide in their DMs. I'm like, hey, like, this is what I can do. Do you ever want to collaborate? Let me know. So yeah, I love it.
I like it. I like it. What kind of advice do you have for homeowners that might be sitting on the fence from a refinance to purchasing? I mean, this is from a younger perspective, but also someone who took the plunge as a homeowner, someone who's obviously an entrepreneur, in my opinion. I mean, you're pretty much self-employed. You got to generate your income. You end up in a different mindset, but you're doing it so early in life. Turo Solis was number 25 out of 620, and he's young. And I'm thinking, wow, great job. I mean, we have this whole new generation coming up, and some of the hardest working people I know are some of my younger people. You don't have all the blinders on already, and you're just open to working hard. What advice do you have for people who are just sitting out there, the next Cristina, whether they want to get into this industry, or the next Cristina buyer out there who's thinking about becoming a homeowner? What kind of advice do you have for those people?
Yeah. So for people that are interested in getting into this industry, my advice would be to create a bubble. And by that, I mean, there's a lot of negative people out there, and it can be very draining, and it's hard to be self-motivated if everyone in your circle is just negative all the time. So pretty much everyone on my team, we're all upbeat. We support each other. We take care of each other. That's one of the many reasons why I wanted to come to Expert. Nathan was my original mentor, and I adore that man. So I'm like, okay, like I want to be surrounded by good people. I don't want to be in a toxic environment. Even like within my chamber of commerce, like everybody supports each other, takes care of each other. I've gotten a lot of leads out of that. So, like that, if they're newer to the industry, getting a really good mentor that not just that is a high producer, but somebody that they enjoy working with, that's pleasant to be around. That way, when they call you or you call them, you're excited to talk to each other. And then my advice for somebody like getting into like the market for buying a house, start the conversation. That's the biggest mistake I see people making, is that like they might have buried themselves in a hole, or they have bad credit. They don't know, like maybe they're overwhelmed with the process. It's like, hey, start the conversation. Even if you're not ready to buy right now, we can come up with a game plan and strategize to get you there. Whether it take like 3 months, 6 months, or a year, like you know exactly what you need to do every month to get you to qualify and hit your goals.
I like it. That's great advice.
And following me on my social media, also that, because I break it down on there too.
There you go. Make sure I can see it very clearly, so everybody else should be able to see that too. And I'll try and add that into the body of the video, as well as like the post on Facebook and stuff. And then we'll take and try and get this out to a lot of people, because each person has their own following. There's 350 million people out there, and it's like you don't need to reach all 350 million, but I guarantee you there's 10,000 people that could relate to you. But how are they going to relate to you if they don't get to know you or see you? What is going to be that your paths are out there, but what makes them eventually cross? And we have to cross our paths with as many people in order to find a following. And that's weird, but it all leads to conversations, be a wealth of knowledge to people. Let them know that if I can't answer it, I know people who can. Be right back to you. And it's like you become like their internet person. Like, hey, I got this weird thing. Let me talk to you about it. It's like, cool. I actually, because eventually it becomes repetitive. People say, Rich, I'm going to stump you. I'm like, yeah, sure you are. I've already had that 25 times. Now I just have different solutions based on the market. And Catherine Barnett pointed out right now, unfortunately, a lot of her business is divorces. Divorces are way up right now, but also credit debt's up, credit defaults are up. People are at the end of the rope. And if ever you wanted to get in front of people as much as you can, however you can, get on the corner and shake a sign, do something to create a conversation. You will get honks, you'll get something, but if you just sit at home saying, woe is me, your results are going to be woe is me. I mean, it's just a fact. It's just a fact. Cristina, I've taken a lot of your time. I appreciate you giving me your time. Is there any questions you have for me?
Ooh, what do I have for you?
I know I didn't set you up for that one, but I always like to ask.
What keeps you motivated?
Well, that's a great question. What keeps me motivated? I honestly feel, and people can say what they want, I get that I'm 57 going on 58, but I feel like the best of my life is still every day ahead of me. Yesterday's gone. I can't reminisce on it too long, but I honestly believe that the best is still ahead of me. And so I live my life that way. I also stay very motivated to want to help others achieve whatever it is with their dreams. I love it when someone says, oh, I just bought my dream house. Oh, I just bought my dream car. Whether it's a borrower or a loan originator or one of my realtors. And I can say, cool, I'm okay with being in the back end of that. I don't need to be on the front end. I'd rather be on the back end with thousands of people than trying to be the one on the front, hoping that somebody follows me on. I don't worry about if someone's going to say, gosh, Rich, I don't like it when you wear black. Good, then don't watch it. I'm confident in who I am. I know what my knowledge is. I know where I'm going. I know what I've accomplished in my life. I know what I want to accomplish. And then I get out of my own way. That's part of it. Don't limit yourself. Some people are like, gosh, I want to do this. I'm like, gosh, think bigger. Don't think so small. Think bigger. I thought I was big at 100 loan originators. Now we're at over 600. People are like, what'd you do? And I'm like, I didn't do anything. I'm the same today as I was back then, but I had a platform with energy and I took on good partners and I just opened up the window in a direction that allows people to bring out their best. And I'm okay with that. I don't need to be, when people say, hey, Rich, come give us an interview. I'm like, why do you want me? Why don't you talk to one of my loan originators? Because they're the ones on the front line. Yeah. I'm on the back end. Why would you want to talk to me? I didn't do anything. I'm not going to those open houses. I'm not going dancing down on 8 Mile with Cristina and doing all that stuff. Come on now. But back in the day, growing up San Bernardino, streets, throw down some cardboard, I was on it. Don't put me on the Pepsi challenge because I would have been breakdancing and spinning on my head. Matter of fact, I met my wife spin dancing at a party and she still doesn't let me live it down today. And don't ask me to ever do it because my back would break nowadays if I tried to get on the ground and spin. Yes, I've lived a lot of life, but I enjoy what I do. And I wake up every day and I want to change somebody's life. You know why, Cristina? Bottom line is somebody reached back and they changed my life. I'm not who I am today because Rich did it. Somebody reached back and said, if you just made a few changes, you seem to have some good attributes. You might consider doing this, this, and this. Free advice. And I took it and I learned something. Never in my life did I think I'd be in real estate. I thought I was going to climb utility poles for electrical companies, and they made good money. $100,000 when I grew up was a lot of money. Those were the high-end rollers. Never in my life did I imagine 35 years of doing real estate and doing millions, like $2 billion worth of transactions last year. We're probably going to do $4 billion this year. They're just numbers to me now. It's just monopoly. I'm going to be the same as I am, and I'm going to pour into people like you because if you're successful, then I'm going to automatically have success too.
Yeah. And I appreciate you too, like creating so many resources for us as loan officers, because I know not every brokerage has that available. Like you can't just call up one of the owners and say, help, I don't know what I'm doing on this file, or like have an outlet where we can have like, hey, how do I do this? Like because there's so many different types of loans, and no matter how many loans you've seen, you haven't seen everything. So
absolutely.
It's very beneficial that we have like so many resources at our disposal.
Well, right on. I am so glad that you use Expert Home Lending's platform and partner with us. Everybody, that's Cristina Goertzen. She's one of our up and coming best of the best. Just keeps doing it every single day. Consistency. You could take a lesson out of her book. We're going to talk more about that nugget that she gave, talking about soft pulls and, what is it, advantage? What do we call those? Not an analysis on people's credit. What's it called?
The simulator, the credit
Simulator.
Yes.
Using that thought process for leads. If you didn't hear that part, rewind it, listen to it again, and listen to it again. That is an incredible angle into this industry in how to help people overcome credit challenges just to get them high enough to hit one of our lenders. And that's where you know your lenders, what the minimum scores are, what those LTVs are, and you become an expert. You could load up. There's so many people that are just outside that parameter to be a homeowner. So that was incredible advice, Cristina. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to sign off like we always do with Mortgage Ballers, saying thank you to Cristina for her time. Thank you for humbling Mortgage Ballers with your time. My name is Rich Hanlin. And like we always do, stay thirsty, my friends.